Okay, so hopefully we're not completely traumatized at this point, alright? Because I'm fully aware that a lot of the stuff that we're doing is really tricky, it's really hard, and it's really complicated. Alright, so make sure that you do get some practice with this. Let me know how you're feeling with these videos. I really do hope that you are understanding it, but don't get discouraged if you're not, because this is really difficult. Okay, so again, the first thing I want to do part E is to plug in 0. And when I do that, shocker, I get 0 over 0. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is try to use my properties of limits here. So when I look at this, I see a sine of 2h appear, but then I also see cosine now involved. So I'm like, okay, what should I do with that? Well, if you go back up, we had an important one involving cosine, which is 1 minus cosine of x over x. Okay, so we're close to that, right? Because I have 1 minus cosine of h. I need it to be over h. Ah, but I have an h squared. Okay, well, what does h squared mean? That means h times h, right? So that's where I'm going to head with this. I'm just going to say, okay, let me just rewrite that then, and say that this is sine of 2h times 1 minus cosine h, and then this is all over h times h. So now this is looking a little bit better, okay, because this is what I'm visually seeing, alright, if you're not quite sure why this looks any better. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this, and then I'm seeing this. And so the yellow looks very, very close to one of the important trigonometric limits, except I'm missing this like 2h here, okay, so I can't really quite use it. But on the right in green, I have exactly my important trigonometric limit there, the second one, because that said that the limit as x approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine x over x is just 0, so it holds the same even though I have a variable h here versus an x. Okay, so what am I going to do about this 2 that I have here? This 2 that I lack, I guess, in the denominator. Well, I'm going to do like I did with the other examples, where I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. And so I have that this is going to be 2 over 2 times sine of 2h times 1 minus cosine h, and then this is all over h times h. And so now I'm going to rewrite this in a way that looks a lot better. So this is 2 sine of 2h all over 2h times 1 minus cosine h all over h. Okay, and so I'm almost there. I just need to bring this 2 to the front, right? Because I want to have it looking like the limit as h approaches 0 of sine of 2h over 2h. All right, and so I'm going to say, okay, well then this is equal to two times the limit as h approaches 0 sine of 2h over 2h, times 1 minus cosine h all over h. Okay, and so now, just using again properties of limits, if we're not quite sure yet, but you should get that the answer is 2. So I have that this is equal to 2 times this sine of 2h over 2h times the limit as h approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine h over h. And so this is equal to 2 times 1 times 1, which is equal to 2.